I have to smile. It has to welcome the audience.
Okay.
Are you not smiling? Don't you?
But you always blushing for the camera.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let this face here. So, hello everybody. Welcome to I think this is the 4th episode of Bag
it
in
took
Bag.
him four episodes to
reach you.
Jobzy.
You are a big man, so
Yeah, it's a lie.
you need 4 tries.
I don't rank
You need
on
to- you
his
need
top
to-
3. That's why. Well, I'm
you
glad I'm here
You
now.
need to message Joba 4 times
It's a lie.
before you reach him. But we have Sir Jobzy here with us today. I'm calling you Sir Jobzy, but his real name is Joba. But before we get to intros, you introduce yourself. But before we get to intros, we're going to play 3 rounds of categories.
All right.
And the best of 3. We'll play 3 games, and best of 3. What will best of 3 get?
Get to sip their kombucha.
Look, but that's not a good bet. That's not a good bet.
All right.
Put something on the line.
What can I put? Okay, lunch or dinner.
Lunch or dinner?
Yeah, the other person has to pay.
How many?
I know you're a rich man, but we'll set a cap of like $50. Yeah.
$50. Okay. Oh yeah. $50 game. All right. We'll start.
All right.
So you know how categories work here, but I'm going to explain it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Give this a nice shuffle. All right, so how categories work is I take a card from the deck, read out the category, and then we start naming examples of the category, and whoever hesitates or cannot mention a category is the loser of that round.
Yeah.
So are you ready? Okay, I'll pick one from the middle of the deck.
All right.
All right. The category, this one is a good one.
Okay.
The category is popular dances, as dance trends. It can be from anywhere. It can be from anywhere.
Oh, yeah, now.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Azonto,
Shaku Shaku.
Akwaba,
Yauze.
Nene.
Oh shit. I knew I was going to run out of.
I'm a dancer.
Unlimited.
1-0. So
All right.
shuffle and pick a category.
Okay.
Nene. When last did I?
Leg walk.
Yeah, leg work. This doggy, this stanky leg. This.
Yeah.
Okay.
A choke. All right. Okay. Let's see. Possibly. But this one is like, okay, I mean, all right. Category is sport cars.
Sport cars.
Yeah. All right. I'll start with Mercedes AMG GT.
Tesla Plaid.
Lamborghini Urus.
McLaren.
Ferrari.
Shit. You said Mercedes-Benz, yeah?
AMG GT, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But you could have mentioned another sub.
Okay, 1-1.
All right.
1-1. The category is internet forums. So internet forums that you know. 4chan.
Reddit.
I had Reddit.
Yeah, I got that. Like, we should have started with Reddit. I didn't even know the other one. But like,
I was just watching this stuff, and this like there was this documentary of something about the internet, and they were just talking about the history of 4chan. So like 4chan was the first. 4chan is the first. So 2-1. $50.
$50. I should have gone higher.
Yeah. You see the mic.
I should have gone higher, but I was just thinking of our
you didn't believe in yourself.
No, I
You're
didn't.
thinking of my pocket because my pocket is small.
No, because your pocket is my pocket is limited. Nife's pocket is deep, so.
All right, that's it. We jump straight into the podcast. So like I said, this is the 4th episode, and we have Sir Jobzy here with us. His name is Joba. I keep saying Sir Jobzy because I know him too well. But so we want you to introduce yourself. Just give us a brief intro into who you are and what you do.
Okay. My full name is Joba Hassan, or for short like Joba or Sir Jobzy. What am I into? I'm into cloud.
He's
So
into the cloud.
I'm into the
Inside of
clouds,
it.
basically. Anything around clouds, yeah, that's what I do. So like cloud architecturing, cloud engineering, DevOps. Um, then recently I got into like lecturing, which has been challenging but
Oh,
interesting. So
okay.
and it's in cloud ops too. So
Oh, sweet, sweet. So you're all you're in.
and encompassing the
You're
cloud.
into the cloud. When you say you're into
Yeah,
the cloud, now I
yeah, I mean
understand.
it's
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand. Okay, so can you walk me through like your how you got into cloud, cloud computing? What did you like, study in school, and was it from school that you had interest in cloud, or was there even was there
Yeah,
any
like
was it
cloud
was it a
wasn't really a
concept then?
thing like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I say like it started with like computer interest, right? Because yeah, my uncle brought a computer to the house, and then set it up, and then I just got interested in how computers worked,
Yeah.
right? And then the internet came about, and then connecting with the modem, getting on the internet, creating an email, talking with people over the phone. That just kind
Okay.
of like sparked my interest of like what computers can do and stuff. So like I always had like it was like more of like a hobby for me. I didn't even think like it was gonna be a career path for me, but
Yeah, what was like you mentioned some stuff now, but what was like the first thing you did? Because I remember we had computers like growing up, and
yeah,
we would play around with like Microsoft Word, and that actually spurred my interest
design.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know how to design, but it just spurred my interest in like computer and computers as itself. But what was like the first set of things like you did on the computer, or like learn how to do?
Yeah, so similar to what you said, like Word documents. I just learned how to like draw stuff
Oh
like on like
yeah,
Corel Draw
yeah.
or
Corel
like
Draw was
design
yeah.
like font on Microsoft Word, and I was always like eager to print it. I was just like, how can I create something digital and I can print it and see it? So
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was kind of fascinating for me, and that's kind of how I started. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And I suppose like you did. Was it a thing in high school? In some high schools, they teach you. They
Yeah.
teach like computer studies. Did you do computer studies, and then was that what spurred your interest in computer science in at university
Interesting.
level?
No, no, actually. So like my school was trying to build a website.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, in
high
secondary
school.
school.
Oh
Yeah, high
wow.
school. Yeah. So there was no website then, and then there were just like a few students that they knew were like computer savvy and stuff. And like I didn't know how to build it then, but I was interested in it. So it was using Adobe
Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So like there was like a little bit of like learning for me, and like they gave us an opportunity to have access to the laptop. That was even more important for me than actually building the website.
Oh yeah.
So on the side, we'll be working on the
So you did other
Dreamweaver.
stuff with the
I mean,
with the
just like
laptop.
watching YouTube
Oh, I
videos and
see.
stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing very productive, right?
Okay.
Like for me, I didn't really see it as like a career path. I wish I had seen it earlier. Maybe like I'd have gone deeper into it. But like for me, it was just like a way of like entertainment.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
I
just
can
like
actually relate to that because I did computer studies in high school, and to me, it didn't seem like a career path. And so, what I was actually planning or going to do was engineering.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe like electrical or mechanical. I was just like, okay, computing is there, computer is there. I know how to use it, but you need a career, and I didn't see
Yeah,
computer as
as
or like
something
computing as a
facts,
career.
facts, facts,
And
facts.
it's good to have that. If you started out that early, you'd have gotten most of that foundational
Fundamental,
fundamentals
yeah.
like strong earlier on. But is that did you go for engineering and then now got computer
No,
science?
no,
Yeah.
no. Actually, so I was also like very good at like technical drawing
Oh yeah.
and like mathematics and stuff. So, so like it boiled down to like two choices when I was going into the university, like architecture or computer science. And like
Okay.
for me, like I'm always chasing that bag. So,
Wow.
so I kind of
Bag
like
is
bag
bag.
is bag, yeah. So I just kind of like evaluated my options and like weighed pros and cons of each career paths. And
Okay.
like for me, like computer science was it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like it was something I enjoyed doing,
Okay.
right? And it was something I could make more money at, so it was like a no-brainer.
Oh yeah. Did you do anything to any entrepreneurial or money making endeavor in school in undergrad that made you see this? Because for me, I did not, doing computer science, I did
Yeah.
not see it. But did you do any?
Yeah, actually, like, yeah, in Nigeria, right? During my internship, I came across like this guy that was like doing game development
Oh yeah.
using Unity and
Okay.
then Autodesk 3D Max, yeah, and or AutoCAD. No, AutoCAD is for architecture. 3Ds Max, yeah, I believe. So like that also like sparked my interest, right? I can like design 3D buildings and then I can import it to Unity and then build a game around that.
Okay.
So that like picked another interest of mine, and then I was just like, okay, I want to go into game development. And like the game market in Nigeria wasn't like, it's basically non-existent
Oh
basically,
yeah.
and I thought that was where I could like really shine out. But yeah,
See a
it
gap
went,
and then
and
just
then go for it.
go for it.
But like the situation of things in Nigeria
Oh
would just
yeah.
kind of frustrate you, and then like
Yeah.
it just kind of changed my priority to
Oh, okay, to move into other
to
money.
Japa to Japa. Yeah.
Before we move, I still want to explore this your journey to cloud and touching on game. Did you do anything that made you actualize some of the potential in creating a game, like some of the potential in honing on that skill, maybe like a project or?
Yeah, so my actually my and I think I was like the first, right? I was the first person to do like a game as a final year project in
Oh
school.
yeah.
So like yeah, that was my final year project.
What
Like
school did you go to?
oh yeah, I went to Covenant University for my bachelor's degree. So yeah.
So final year project. Did I take it because game development can be challenging? Did it take you long to do? Because you just have like one semester, 4 months
Yeah.
to do it.
So yeah, it didn't take me too long. The thing is like there was no existing project that I could follow off, right? Because I was doing something new,
Okay.
right? But I think maybe because I was also doing something new, there was not a lot for the professors to like,
Oh, to attack.
yeah, and to judge and to compare and contrast with other people's work. So it's like I was kind of setting the pace and starting something new,
Oh, yeah.
and then also like discovering this
Okay.
path I wanted to explore. Yeah.
All right, sweet. And then after CU, where did CU after undergrad, where did that lead you? What did you do? And
Yeah, so yeah,
what's your
unfortunately,
journey?
unfortunately, Nigeria, like, yeah, you just have to like go with what you see, right? So you come out like NYSC, you have to do that, right? And then fortunately, I mean, I got a company that was into IT.
Oh, yeah.
But they were more into like networking,
Oh, okay.
systems administration.
Was that an interest for you, or you just
No.
that was just you just put your head there like
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
is
just
what it is.
yeah, just what it is. And like for me, like I think the moment I was like done with my bachelor's, I was just like, yeah, like I kind of want to leave Nigeria. So
Okay.
I didn't even really care that much about what I was doing at the moment. As long as I was just like keeping busy and working towards my plan of leaving the country. So
All right, and I know. Okay, so you left Nigeria to go pursue masters. What did you do in masters? Was it related to cloud computing? Did you do anything cloud computing related?
no, so it wasn't directly related to cloud computing, but it was like masters of applied computing, right? So it's still like within the same computer science space, but like more in depth into like some of these more complex computer
Okay.
science things.
Did you find it difficult?
I had people like you, right? Our forefathers. So it kind of made it easier, right? Knowing people that have gone through it, right? So it wasn't too bad, but yeah, it wasn't too bad, but there was nothing related to like cloud computing. So I was like, when I was doing my internship.
Or that you started? So there was internship with this program.
Yeah, there was
What
internship.
program is this? Can you
Yeah,
share?
so it's in University of Windsor, Masters of Applied Computing.
Yeah.
So it's like 12 months of coursework in the school and then 4 months of
Of internship.
internship.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was during your internship that you got a cloud related role.
No, not
wasn't a
actually. No, it wasn't cloud related.
So you just like entered into cloud like while you were doing the internship.
Yeah, exactly.
And what kickstarted that for you?
Like I said, like I'm always like pushing the bag, right?
Oh,
So
wow, okay.
I was just like, okay, what's like the next hottest thing?
So what were you doing in the internship, Gogo? And
So it was like systems administration,
like
right?
Linux stuff?
No, it's like Windows, like it was basically like level 2 technical support.
For who, clients
Payroll
or
card
the
for our
for is it
in-house.
internal
Yeah,
organization? Okay,
internal,
so
yeah.
so you're an IT,
IT.
support
Exactly,
for the
exactly.
for the
For the
for the
organization.
organization. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. And to me, from what I understand is that that's usually a part for people going into like cloud computing, because I have some people who I've worked with in the past, and most of them come from this like IT tech systems admin background, and so that's similar part for you. That's similar part for you, but who now gave you this opportunity to actually pursue, or did you take the initiative yourself? Who gave you the opportunity to pursue everything cloud, and what was like the
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, it was just as like I said, right? I just did my research, like
Oh, yeah.
what is paying the most in the IT
okay.
industry. That is something I feel like I could succeed at, right?
Okay.
And that was like what informed my decision to go to the cloud. But I'll say definitely like my previous experience definitely helped me to excel.
To grasp it quickly.
To grasp it,
Oh,
yeah, quicker,
yeah.
right? Because I had like networking background in Nigeria, so like understanding that's like kind of the foundation, like level 1 stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the systems administration, you start talking about servers and whatnot, but I wasn't really dealing with like application, automation,
Oh, yeah.
deployment yet. But then when I started like learning about the cloud, having all these components like work together, like now made sense, right?
Okay.
But it was like me that just like had an interest in the cloud because I thought like it could be a good career path for myself.
So for people trying to start like you were starting then, what were, I wouldn't say, I want to ask what were some mistakes you made, but before we go there is like what routes what were the first set of things you had to learn? And you can right now what we have is that have like a computer science background, have that fundamental computing, IT and systems knowledge. But for cloud, what were the first set of things you had to go and learn and look at and say, okay, this is where I'll start from, and this is what would help me boost my knowledge, or kickstart my knowledge in the cloud?
Yeah, I mean everybody's path is different, right? But for me, I think when I was starting out, like one of the information I was seeing out there was like do your AWS Associate Solutions Architect exam, right?
Okay.
So that was like a good starting part for me because like you're working towards a certificate while learning the knowledge, right?
Okay.
And then if you're able to pass that certificate, then it kind of proves that you have a certain level of understanding of these concepts and the cloud technology.
Okay.
So during my internship, I wasn't as busy as I could have, and that just gave me an opportunity to like leverage the time I had available
To learn
to
it.
take the certification. And then within like 3 months, I took the certification, I passed it, and then I applied for a job like a month after, and then I got my first job in the cloud.
Sweet. So from understanding what you're saying is that look for a certificate. A good route would be look for a certificate, a fundamental certificate
That is in high demand.
that is in high demand, and then use that to just learn towards that. And because you are learning towards getting the certificate, you just grasp all the concepts,
knowledge, naturally,
and then move to that. Okay, so and you're now saying the you mentioned high demand. So high demand would mean that employers are looking for these certificates. Can you tell me some that people listening can just, if they want like go into cloud computing, can you tell me some that are like in high demand that would be useful for someone starting out?
Yeah, I'll say like AWS Associate Solutions Architect exam.
Yeah.
Now probably CKA, Certified Kubernetes Administrator.
Okay.
It's like most people are running on containers now, so it's very important. Some people do like Terraform certification. I don't think it's really necessary because it's quite simple, but at the end of the day, whatever gives you an edge over the next person
Oh, yeah.
is always good. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So I'm learning that I'm very familiar with all these tools. We don't have it's a lot, so we don't want to go into deeply into deeply into the knowledge of all of them. But now from that, you now move on to, so you've gotten certificate, now move on to interviewing. Can you share your experience with interviewing, like in these streets, on this
These
job
streets,
market?
yeah.
In this job market, what was your experience like interviewing, and like what would you say? What are some lessons that you just picked up through your interviewing process?
Yeah, I mean, failure is just like an opportunity for you to learn what will help you in your next
Okay.
interview. Like that's one thing that's very important, right? Because I'll interview and somebody asked me a question that I'd never known, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like I'll write it down and then go and practice it for the next person,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I took as much interview as I could,
Mm-hmm.
even when I already knew I had a job offer.
You're still
Right,
taking
ready. I was
interviews.
still taking interviews,
Okay.
just to like learn, right? So I just don't get comfortable where I am, right? If there's still like more knowledge I need to know to
Gotcha.
make me better at interviewing, like I'm going to take it, right?
Okay.
So the job I currently have, like I already had the offer down and I was ready to like move, but I also had like an interview coming up, but I took it just in case,
Yeah, just
right?
you can just you can just learn more. Okay.
Exactly,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. And interviewing tips. What would you say is, because during your interview there's like behavioral, there's the technical part. What would you say is the technical like experience for interview? What has been the technical experience for you? I know different companies have their different interview process, but has it been mostly for a cloud engineer? Has it been mostly like trivial, like question and answer? Has it been mostly maybe case study? Has it been like live
Scenario,
coding?
yeah, okay.
Scenario. What has it been for you?
Yeah, like you said,
Mostly.
like it varies, right? But mostly I'll say it's like experience based actually, right?
Okay.
And scenario, not scenario, experience based, right? Because they ask you question like, oh, tell me a time when you had to set up like monitoring
Okay.
or observability, or let's say a system went down, right? Because different teams were using different packages
Yeah.
and then they didn't communicate with each other in a proper way, right? And what would you do? And like to me, I haven't faced this challenge before.
That was my next question, because if for someone that hasn't faced it, how can
Yeah.
they prepare for this? Because I have similar experience, and that's all we get. Scenario and what have
Yeah.
you done before, but how can someone prep for that if you haven't done all that before?
That's why it's like it boils down to like just taking as many interviews as you can and doing your research, right? Research will take you somewhere, but I feel like until you actually like do the interviews, like some questions wouldn't pop out. So you just have to do the interviews and then learn from the interviews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good advice. And I don't know if you've ever had to like hire people before.
No. Oh,
You've not done
higher, like in my. Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Like
through
interview.
your,
Yeah. Oh
through your
yeah, for
career.
sure. Yeah, I
Through your,
have. Yeah.
through your career. And what are some things you see that people fail to do? Like I did, it's maybe they don't answer. Like what are some how do I put that? Like this candidate is a good candidate, this candidate is not a good candidate. How do you know candidates are not good when you're hiring for cloud related roles?
Yeah. So the one thing I'll say is like, yeah, if you don't know something, then just like own up to it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
a good one.
that's yeah. So if somebody's like, I ask you a question and you don't know it, instead of saying stuff that doesn't make sense, right? You can say, okay, let me give it a try, right? But I'm not sure about it.
Okay.
If you give it a try and then you get it, then that's good. But if you don't, then at least it shows initiative. But at least you're making it clear that you don't know something, right?
Okay.
Instead of just like saying cock and bull story.
Oh, and then trying to dilly-dally over the place, and then now be
Yeah,
looking like
more incompetent.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Now I'm curious. Moving into your day to day, what is your day to day? What's your day to day like? Can you, in very simple terms, what's your day to day? What do you do in your role that's maybe like general, that's common across the day? Because I know there are some days where it's like different new stuff, but what if you were to explain it to someone, what would you say without, maybe without using the word like cloud? Yeah, how would you your day to day
without using
work?
cloud. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Challenge accepted.
Let's try.
Yeah, day to day is basically they usually like project work, right? And then there's like maintenance work. So I feel like a good balance is maybe like 30% of your time spent on project work, and maybe like 50% spent on maintenance work, and then the rest maybe learning or like downtime.
Oh, okay.
So if you have something you're building from scratch, that would be like a project, right? Or you're refactoring something. But most of the times, like maybe something is broken in the system that already exists,
Okay.
right? And then you need to like troubleshoot, identify the root cause, and then prevent it from happening again. So that's I say like 50% of the time, once you have like a stable system, is geared towards like maintenance and upkeep, and then 30% is about like developing and building new features.
Okay. What about like on call, because you have to monitor system?
Yeah.
How is on call for you? How have you seen on call over the course of your career? And for people listening, on call is when you have to be on duty to monitor the systems, to make sure that when systems go down, you are there to actually respond to them. And with the nature of like computing and systems, computing systems engineering, and software, when you set up software, these software are not always 100% reliable, and sometimes they go down.
Yeah.
And when they go down, someone has to be there to
To
actually monitor
it.
and then make sure that they bring the service back up if the service goes down. So how has that experience been for you?
It hasn't been too bad, but
You've not had
it's not
terrible on
fun.
calls. Oh yeah.
No, I haven't had like terrible on calls, if I'm being honest. But I never used to do on calls, right? Because I was the cloud architect, and like those kind of work was like 80% building stuff,
Okay.
and then handing over to like the
Cloud
team,
operations,
cloud
yeah.
operations. So that was like quite fun for me, but I had to get another job that provided like better opportunities for me.
Okay.
But part of the downside of that was on call. But fortunately enough, like there are probably like one or two scenarios where I've spent like more than 6 hours
Trying to
fixing
fix an issue. Oh,
an
yeah.
issue. So maybe just like two or three occasions has that ever happened. But for the most part, it's just like something trips and then it resolves after a short time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Before we move into your your teaching experience, I want you to like list out different opportunities in the like all the roles you can go with being a person who is knowledgeable in cloud computing. What are the different roles that you can go for? Can you like list out some of them?
Yeah, so like cloud architects,
Yeah.
cloud specialists, cloud operations engineer,
Yeah.
cloud engineer, DevOps,
Oh yeah.
SRE,
Yeah.
yeah, I
What
think
was SRE?
site reliability engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what SRE is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and now there's platform engineering. So yeah,
Yes, platform engineer. I
yeah.
think
So it
that's
keeps
the new buzzword.
So
Yeah.
it keeps changing, but
Changing.
it's like
It's
many other industry.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Fundamentally, it's like the same stuff, right?
yeah.
But
All.
people rebrand it
Oh
to
yeah.
mean different things for their use cases.
Oh, okay. So you mentioned that you started teaching. Was
Yeah.
that a passion for you from time? And like, where are you? What are you teaching? Where are you teaching?
Yeah, so a passion. It was just something I thought would be really cool.
Oh yeah.
And like
So okay,
I want to give back,
you
right?
want to give back
Out of
all
the
the knowledge.
abundance
I see.
of
I see.
yeah, like just like to mentor, to teach people. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something I always wanted to do. And when the opportunity came, like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna grab it and then see how I like it.
Oh yeah.
And because I enjoy what I do, like it's not as bad, right? Because
Yeah, because you can just speak about it. Just
yeah, without
okay.
thinking too
Yeah.
much about it. Yeah, without planning, without reading too much. It's like something I do on a day-to-day basis, even without working. Like something I do on my own free time, just to pass time and to learn more. So it's been going okay, but like the human part is what is a bit challenging because you actually like need to be very patient with students.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
You have to read the room.
yeah,
See. Yeah.
and then you need to be able to like yeah get feedback from the student, make sure they're learning, make sure make sure you're communicating properly.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I think about it, I'm like some of them just like stare at me because
And then just what are you
I'm just
saying?
like yeah, I'm just like I know yeah your professor might be good looking but like
Wow. Wow.
but like are you getting the content? I'm just joking
Call,
but
call,
like but yeah
call Joba to your school to teach your students.
distract your students.
Wow.
I'm just joking.
Interesting.
But yeah, I do enjoy it, and I think it's something like I would continue doing.
Okay, you see it as a a path
Yes,
that
for sure.
you can go in. For cloud computing, what's how is the progression of the career for you? How do you see it for yourself? And how do you see it? How does it play out normally? And how do you see it for yourself? Like, where do you see yourself taking cloud computing?
Too.
Yeah, in terms of your career ladder.
That's a good question. Yeah, for me, I feel like I've been fortunate enough. I feel like I got in at such a good time, and I was able to like focus my energy
Yeah.
at building myself within like a year or so.
Okay.
And like that just like really made me hone my skills. Right. So like I was able to demand much more
Oh, yeah.
than the experience I had. But
Okay.
just based on the knowledge I had, I was able to leverage.
So you enter
those
you
positions.
got in pretty early before the whole, because there was a time there was
Yeah,
the
that
whole
just
cloud
boomed.
yeah, it just boomed, yeah.
yeah. So I just got in right when it was like in its infancy
Oh, yeah.
and like really becoming a buzzword, but like it wasn't like really in high demand. It was in high demand, but like there were not many
There were-
qualified
yeah,
people.
It was more
Yeah.
it was more software engineering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So like my first job I did it and it was like 10 months. And then I was just like I feel like I could be earning a lot
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Yeah. And then they were like, oh, you have to wait for a year. I was just like, no.
No,
So I applied for
no.
another job.
Yeah.
And like, boom, 50% increase.
Oh, okay.
Within that same job, after like a couple of months, boom, another
Yeah.
50% increase. And it just like kept getting better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew this stuff, right? And people were willing to pay for that
Pay
knowledge.
for more for it.
So, so I'll say like I've probably been in it 2020. Now this is 2024.
So that's 4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah, ideally you should be young, like in the
yeah,
sense of it, but
exactly.
because of how like fast it has boomed, how much cloud engineers have to like, and cloud architects, how much they have to like learn like very fast, and how rapidly
The
the
industry is
space
changing
has is changing and has grown. So you're just learning a lot like every
consistently.
year, because every day
Yeah,
like new things, new
exactly.
tools are like are coming. I remember when because I'm a site reliability engineer too, and it's a similar field. And I remember when I was entering, I was applying for a software engineering job, and then the company at the time
Yeah.
called me that the software engineering job is in Ottawa.
Oh, for
Now,
real.
if you know me, I'm not going to Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
If
okay,
I can only live in Toronto.
no, I can live in Dubai.
You can live in Dubai,
I can live
okay.
in
And the US.
I live in New York.
Yeah.
I'm a city boy.
For sure.
Yeah. So they were like, "It's in Ottawa," and I was like, "No, I'm not going to Ottawa." And they're like, "There's only a DevOps engineering position in Toronto," and I was like, I actually decided I wanted to think about it. I was like, should I just wait for a software engineering job to open?
For real.
And then I thought about it. And I was just like, let me just take it. Let me just leave where I was at, because like you say, you're always looking for greener pastures. And I said to like leave and take the DevOps engineering role. So that's
So that was like just like
that's
something you planned for.
It wasn't something I planned for. So I was going for software engineering.
Interesting,
Yeah, I was going for
yeah.
software engineering, because that's like kind of like my background. And I went to DevOps, and I saw that where I was, we're coding almost most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're writing code. If it's not Bash, we're writing Python systems, Python script for like system automation.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Bash, we're writing Terraform. Yeah, and it was I saw that it was similar. And it's like you write short. Yeah, it's logic, like short scripts here and there that would just do something quickly. Not that there's a software engineering, like write, and then you build like a whole like big project. But it was it made sense for me, because maybe my short attention span. So I was like, oh, do
Before
this
you lose, I forget what you're writing. Yeah, okay.
I was like, oh, it would I write small script, it would do this, and then the work is done. Like,
that's it.
So and I like that. I'm like, I'm going to like stay in this line of work, and so that's where
and would you say like you are better off as a DevOps person than a software engineer?
For sure.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm more on call comes from the ER. And so the ER is like a very fast-paced environment. And I heard like the ER works best for people with, I don't have ADHD. I don't have, but it works best for people with ADHD. And so it's the same like short burst of like fast-paced like automation
response.
There's a problem, automate it and fix it, or find automation gaps, fix it, and then if things are always going down,
something's breaking, you have to fix it or patch it real quick.
So you're like searching for like problems, and if you can quickly search for problems and find solution and do root cause analysis, that's very good. And it's just that fast-paced nature of it. If you leave me on a project for too long, if you leave me on a project for 3 months, I'll start the project 2 weeks before the end of the 3 months. But
and the grind.
Yeah, but with system, with DevOps and like automation, you have to do it there.
Real quick.
Do it there. So
you have other systems depending on you and other people. So you can't just like isolate yourself, and except you have like a steady platform.
And it's not always sometimes it's project based, but sometimes you actually have to look at what the engineers want to do, because to explain this, cloud engineering is systems engineering, but
on a cloud platform.
on a cloud platform. And system engineers, what they do is that they support software engineers to be able to deploy and run their workloads. And so we do that, and so people are always depending on you for their own systems to work. And so you don't necessarily have project work. Like sometimes, like say it's 30% project work, and then maintenance, and some of that maintenance is looking at what your developers want and quickly doing it for them,
or optimizing their process
at that point in time. So that's it. But we're very grateful for you for sharing your experience. Well, what are some tips and advices that you would leave for people trying to get into the field, because it's still booming and it's still
Oh,
like it's here
yeah.
for a while. So
100%.
what are your advices for people trying to get?
I mean, maybe before I say cloud, it's always like if you want to do something, it's always easier to excel at something you're passionate about or something that comes naturally to you. So that's like very important. So if you're lucky enough that like cloud or DevOps is something that you find easy to do, right, or you're passionate about, then that's great for you. Then start to research, right?
Okay.
Because I started like maybe 4 years ago. Maybe it has changed a little bit now.
A lot.
Yeah,
Changed a
yeah,
lot,
exactly. So maybe like certificate part is not the way to go, right? Maybe it's referral, maybe it's using like your past experience or project work, right? So that's the thing. You have to do a bit of research and understand what is required. But for me, like there are a few people now that have actually like advised and they've got into the industry and they're
Oh,
actually
cool,
like
cool.
succeeding at it.
Are you
And
open
like
to advising? Advice?
yeah, I mean, I'll send you my hourly rates.
Wow.
I'm just joking, but like, yeah, I'm always like happy to like guide people and lead them. Right? There's some people like I told 2 years ago, 3 years ago about it,
To go into cloud.
and like it's just now they're like doing it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they probably wish they started a little bit earlier.
Oh.
But there's some people that I told and they like picked with it immediately and they're already like in the industry now. So like whatever you want to do, just start it, right? Practice, very important. Like on my own time without anybody paying me, I just like play with the cloud, try some automation. I even like have a home lab that I set up and like I run the same
Sweet.
tools
Very
and
passionate.
same tools and technology that we use in production, right? But on a very smaller scale, but still the same concepts apply.
Okay.
So like I have a good understanding of it. So, and if you're good at something, then you're always going to be in high demand.
Oh, sweet, sweet. So, starting from, the cloud platform that you majorly use or the ones that you use, can you tell me like tools, like a list of tools, maybe like 5 of them or 7 of them that you use, and like just a brief explainer on what those tools do, starting from like the cloud platform that you majorly use. Which one
I
are you
majorly
most-
use, I mean, mostly AWS.
Oh, okay.
But I've still done like a lot of projects on GCP and Azure. So
What's GCP?
Google Cloud Platform,
Okay, so who owns AWS?
Amazon,
Who owns GCP?
Google,
And
and
who owns
Azure,
Azure?
Microsoft.
Okay. So
Yeah.
those are the 3 big.
Big cloud
Yeah.
providers.
So if you want to
yeah.
go into cloud computing, just start with that.
Yeah, start with one of those big
Yeah.
threes, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
And then yeah, Terraform too, automation.
What does Terraform do?
So infrastructure as code, rather than manually creating those resources on the cloud, you write them as code and then run it, and then it creates the resources for you, and then that ensures it's consistent.
Okay.
And then if somebody makes a change without the IAC, then you can easily revert it back to the desired state. So
Oh, okay.
that's something I use quite often. But once you have like a steady platform, you don't need to be doing this often. You just need to maintain it and update it.
Yeah. What's another tool you work with? I know you work with Kubernetes.
Kubernetes, yeah, that's
What does Kubernetes help you do?
so it's a container orchestration platform, right? So helps you to deploy your container images and provides like a suite of tools
Yeah.
around the platform that enables you to successfully deploy, monitor,
Yeah.
configure your application smoothly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I think generally those are like the big set of tools that people
yeah, exactly.
request for. All right, so that's cool.
Yes.
Thank you for being on the pod. The Bag is Back pod.
Thank you for having
It
me.
will be out
All right, thank
very
you, sir.
soon. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Mr.
Yeah,
Nick.
sharing your experiences. It's good to learn, in depth about your experience and all you've faced. And then you're advising people to go into the field if they have the passion for it. So
Yeah, because it's a lot of things you have to know, but you don't really need to go in depth. But you need to know a lot of things. You need to know about networking. You need to know about application. You need to know about security. You need to know about monitoring, logging.
Yeah.
And then there's also the people's
Authentication,
part.
API.
APIs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, but you don't always have to go in deep in everything. Like application, you don't need to go in deep into that. Authentication, you don't need to, but you need to understand how these things work and
Oh,
how they
yeah.
work with each other. So
Okay.
that's the thing.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
It's been another episode. Thank you for watching thus far. If you reached
Send
the
me a
end,
message if you reach
if
this
you reach
stage.
the end, yeah, send Joba a message.
Send me a message.
Send him a message
I
for
have a
money.
gift for
money.
you.
Okay. All
I have a
right,
gift for
sweet.
you. All right.
All right, thank you.
Been a pleasure.
Good one.
Peace.
Bye.
All right.